In the middle of the Mediterranean is an island steeped in natural beauty, mystery, and magic. Sardinia. In the inner regions of the island lies the Barbagia, a mountainous enclave that remained hidden and inaccessible for years. Surrounded by wilderness, a few scattered villages here are home to communities traditionally made up of shepherds, farmers, and small wine growers. In their own way, everybody is actively involved in the most important celebration of the year, Carnival. Here it is called Carrasecare, and its roots date far back to the pre-Christian era. Carrasecare consists of a series of propitiatory celebrations, all inspired by ancient rituals dedicated to Bacchus and Prometheus. Their purpose is to renew the social ties that are on hold during the isolation of the winter months, allowing the community to join together in solidarity to face the upcoming season. The villages of Mamojada and Ottana are the best illustrations of these rites. Since the dawn of time, an immutable attachment to family and community has been handed down while maintaining deep respect for identity and a truly unique culture.
I experience Carnival every day. All year long, I always saw my parents, especially my father, making masks. Drawing on this family experience is so valuable for me today. When I make a mask, and I know the person who will be wearing it, it's a totally different process. I think about the person as I create it. I always say that each mask has a name and a surname. There are several main characters in Carnival. The role of the boes, with its wooden mask with horns and bells, is easy to define. The animal. The merdules mask is a human face. It goes to great lengths to try and tame the boes. It doesn't always succeed, and lively brawls break out between them.
Hey, you took the red one. I needed that.
It's beautiful. Who made it?
I did.
All by yourself? Bravo! Can I see yours, Raquel? It's also beautiful. Jaime, come here. Come here. Does that feel okay? You're gonna scare everybody.
Okay.
Ottana is the land of Carnival, the Carrasecare. Ottana puts its heart and soul into it for an entire month, beginning January the 16th, the eve of St. Anthony's feast. This is what we call Sogolone, the bonfire. It's the start of what we've been waiting for all year long, because since the dawn of time, Carnival has been a way to let off steam after a season spent isolated in the countryside or at home. It's very powerful what we feel during this period. Carnival is an intrinsic part of us, like a chromosome is part of our DNA. It's an odd phenomenon, something in the air. If you haven't experienced it, you can't really understand. Preparations begin several days beforehand. A group of people begins scouting out places where we can find, and sometimes even steal, wood. You can hear the tractors coming and going all morning long. They're preparing for what will be the sogoloni. Hey there, how's it going? Can I come in? Put the best aside for me, I'm counting on you.
Yeah, right.
I'm pregnant, that's the tradition.
No problem. Get some fishing line and I'll get you whatever you need. It's called beans and bacon. Supposedly a poor man's dish, only the best. You start by cooking pork to honor St. Anthony. He's always seen accompanied by a pig. He grants a certain nobility to the pig, which therefore deserves to be eaten.
The feast day of St. Anthony is when the masks make their first appearance. This marks the onset of the festivities. Dinner is offered on the town square that day. It's the first opportunity for everyone to see and speak with each other, to be all together.
St. Anthony the Abbot, the guardian figure of the beginning of Carnival, is a multifaceted figure. He is certainly the first monk who gave his belongings away to the poor, but he is also the one who made the church Christianize the pagan rituals and celebrations around the bonfires. The faithful believe that St. Anthony stole fire from hell to give it to mankind, deftly superseding the figure of Prometheus.
In my role as a priest, I probably shouldn't say this, but the eve of St. Anthony, January 16th, is probably the most important date of all the festivities here. Some villagers offer bread, the bread of St. Anthony. This is truly a blessing for many families, as they'll have enough food for a few weeks. I believe that the miracle of St. Anthony is expressed by simply being together, sharing food and drink, and doing everything possible to make that evening a moment of shared joy, because alone, you can't do anything. Happy holiday, everyone.
Matteo, shall we go? Why are you hiding? I haven't even put your mask on yet. Here, let me see. Let me see. Let's put this in it. Well, maybe not. We'll put a scarf over it.
No, not now.
So what should we put? Here, this one. That way we're nearly ready, right? Wait. Hold still. How do you usually act when you put on a mask, huh? Good or evil? Are you stronger with the bells? No? You know when Daddy puts on a mask, he becomes a superhero, like you.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Who am I? Who am I?
The big moment draws near. Boes and Merdulis are preparing for the first appearance of the year. They are gearing up to play out the partnerships and conflictual relations between man and beast, in hopes that their good relationship will continue forever.
No, I don't want to go alone. I don't want to go alone.
No, Daddy's coming with you to say hi to Mum.
The Filonzana is unique. It's the only female mask in the entire ethnic carnival of Sardinia. Her role is to watch over the livestock and to scare off any people who come near. Traditionally, she holds the thread of life, and with her spindle, weaves a bad fate which cuts the thread of life for anyone who threatens her or her livestock. Whenever I wear this mask, it's as if I'd jumped back in time thousands of years. It's almost as if I had awoken a mummy from its eternal sleep, and it's living.
Many are convinced that the church introduced the character Filonzana, most likely in opposition to the Boes and Medules, who were considered to be too pagan at the time. This is a bit of a dark figure who seems to be saying, "Look out, I'm watching you." This really is the symbol of the church's power that has remained. By imposing its procession and its blessing of the fires, takes ownership of the Sogolone. The procession circles round the bonfire 3 times. Then the priest makes his blessing. Then, just as they are about to enter the church, the masks arrive and create this unusual blend of sacred and profane. This festival allows us to be with those we don't see too often and to meet new people. There is shared recognition because we're so frequently limited by our prejudices. But Carnival strips us bare, even if we're covered in skins. I reconnect with my best friend and with my lesser friend, not to say my enemy. This one is the only Cuban mask in Ottana. It's something really special. Carnival unites us in the same spirit. We're all part of this carnival. Whether we're right-wing or left-wing, Carnival is a little like our Olympic Games. There's no belligerence because Carnival is above all of this.
My friend!
Hey, cheers! May the next few years be better ones. Come back and see us. See you soon.
In Ottana, Carnival's opening events continue around the bonfire until the early morning of January 17th. At the same time, 40 kilometers away, preparations are underway for the first appearance of the Mamoyada masks, the Mamutones and the Isaodores. They will wind through the village doing a kind of telluric dance, leading all of the people to the 50 bonfires lit in the various districts. Each family has been preparing for the event for several days now.
Anyway, brush it.
When I was a child, my mother always told me that the St. Anthony cakes were made as a votive offering to honor the saint. So we prepared plenty of them as a welcome gesture for the guests who come to see the fire. We also offer wine, almond-flavored coffee, and coffee. Each guest is sacred to us. So it's very important to do these things and offer hospitality.
Are those the last ones?
Yes.
Hi, Fra. How are you doing?
Hi.
You okay?
Yeah. You?
Good, good. I brought my mask. It needs to be adjusted a little.
Oh, yeah? Is it rubbing?
Yeah, here on the inside.
Here? This side?
Bye, Fra.
Bye. This is not just a piece of wood. It's a living thing, which you pour your soul into. It may look like we're mauling the wood as we work it, but a certain degree of violence is required to soften it up, to create its expression, to create the shape of the eyes, and to make them expressive. For us, they are always sad masks, never cheerful ones. They must instill fear to ward off evil spirits, capture their benevolence, convey anxiety, maybe even suffering. Like the suffering from fatigue we feel during the parade we're organizing. I love it when I see people wearing my masks. Although I no longer participate in the parade, it makes me happy that a part of me is still present for the event.
These masks belong to me, and I belong to this community. Hearing the Mamutones wandering through the streets of Mamoyada, sounding their bells and making the walls tremble, is an incredibly powerful experience. It is a very emotional moment. I'm often in tears. I feel like I'm a witness of the Carnival of Mamoyada, the one who needs to promote this carnival outside the community, to make it known for what it really is, without using any kind of artifice, because Carnival is tradition. And this is the room with the Sardinian masks. Their origin dates back thousands of years. These masks were created to secure what mankind has wanted from the beginning of time, to gain the benevolence of the gods. There is a similarity here to the rain dance of the American Indians. This is a proprietary ritual devoted to all life forms and has bearing on the seasons and the land of the animals. This act of propitiation is carried out by sound. This is why all of the characters have bells. The bells are the elements that can ward off evil spirits through the noise they make, to drive away any negative influence from homes and fields, and thus ensure that the annual and pastoral crops are bountiful.
Stand up.
Hey, do you think we'll be able to convince your father to be mamutones?
Hold it firmly and don't pull too much.
What actually links the dark and heavy mamutones to the vibrant, colorful isoadores remains a mystery. They unleash a kind of trance during which all mamoyada vibrates in resonance. This is the much-awaited moment when each individual finds new momentum, drawing on the very sources of their identity.
Mamoyada is the village of the Mamutones and the Isadores. Everyone here identifies with the Mamutones. People often ask us, but who makes you do this? How do you manage to wear the bells on your shoulders and jump around with them? This requires such incredible physical effort. We're driven by passion. Either it's passion or you're totally crazy. There's no other answer. Of course we feel the fatigue, but the urge to dress up and participate in the parade is definitely stronger. 3 straps are too loose.
We'll get to that later.
Okay, but pull hard on the other side afterward. It's not only about wearing bells and parading in public. It's also about participating in something magical and mysterious and perpetuating the mystery.
I started as a child when I was about 6. I was a mamutones for a year, then became an isoadores. I've never stopped since. When I'm getting ready, the first thing I feel is overwhelming emotion, because I know I'm doing something very beautiful. We'll all meet back here, okay? The best moment is when the whole group is ready, when everyone is dressed, and I line them all up at the headquarters of our association to make sure that everything is perfect.
It's an odd feeling when we put the mask on, securing it with the scarf, and we become transformed. The people who are looking at me and saw Pino up to now can no longer see who's behind the mask. Whether it's you or somebody else, everyone sees a mamutones, and you feel like a mamutones. You're a mamutones among the mamutones.
When I begin leading the group, the most important thing to me is to create a beautiful parade to honor the tradition. This is the exact moment when you have to make a good impression. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome.
The evocative force of the masks, the solemn nature of the rituals, and the generosity of the people draw visitors and researchers from around the world each year. They flock here to experience the rhythm of the Mamutones steps and to fully immerse themselves in the mysterious rituals.
Participating in the parade is really hard work. It's not only the weight of the bells that's tiring, but also the inability to breathe deeply. The leather straps are very tight, which makes it difficult to breathe, as does the mask as well. You have to remember that the St. Anthony parade can sometimes last for 5 hours. It's a really healthy fatigue, though, and we've chosen to do this. We'd be a lot more tired if we were wearing bricks, for example. These are bells. How beautiful.
Why are the Isoadores throwing their ropes towards the women? According to an ancient tradition, this represents giving seed, giving fertility to the whole community. This is why they say that being lassoed by the Isoadores brings you luck, as does being touched by any object the masks are carrying. What? What? White or red? No! White or red? Of course, the masked characters are the main protagonists here. Yet the entire community is invited to gather round the fire, and even visitors who come for St. Anthony feel a need to immerse themselves in the ritual. The archaic nature of these rituals can be seen in the Mamutones' attitude, sound and dance, and in the way their foot strikes the ground, representing an appeal for the vegetation to wake up.
Please have some. Please have some. No, the Mamutones are served first, the others afterwards.
Cakes and wine are distributed to those around each fire, as the people of Mamuada would like visitors to feel that they are deeply involved in the events. This is what people like. This is what they are looking for when they come here. Today, very few communities in the world do this, Mamuada being one of the rare ones that do.
The mametones have always been a part of my existence. I think they're all beautiful. All my children are mamutones, even my grandchildren. I'm happy. My sons are happy, and my grandchildren too. They are proud of their mother and their grandmother. I don't need anything else. I am filled with happiness with my family and the whole village.
All through the night, the villagers and visitors continue to weave the joyous web of meetings and discussions, strolling from bonfire to their heart's content, until they are totally exhausted. For over a month until the end of Mardi Gras, the streets, squares, and houses will continue to pulsate to the rhythm of the masks' impromptu appearances. Native villages, forced into exile to find work, generally plan to spend their annual leave here during this period. Experience Carrasecare is the perfect time to reconnect with one's family, culture, and roots.
Preparing zeppoli for Carnival is part of our tradition, for guests who arrive and for families. This is a traditional Carnival dish to be served in every home. They're good for having a supply throughout the holiday, and also as a tradition of intercession for souls, encouraging us to give to those in need, offering a hot meal to the needy, and making them for those unable to do so. This can be neighbors or friends.
The women involved in Carnival are responsible for the entire preparation phase. Everything that needs to be cooked for Carnival can be prepared in advance. The important thing is that they're always prepared at home. That way the women are free to go down into the streets and dress up as mascaras serias, another very important figure of our Carnival. This mask is described as serious in contrast to Boes and Mergiles, who are represented as being very noisy and picturesque. This serious mask is more orderly and respectful. We dress with what we have at home. My mother always told me that for those in mourning, particularly widows who never went out, Carnival was precisely the opportunity to use this mask and have a bit of fun, to get out and see the world, because they could rely on the fact of not being recognized. Sardinian dances are danced in circles. It's called a tonare. We squeeze into a circle so we can look at one another. Being all together and dancing in step enhances the feeling of true friendliness and community.
Il bello è girare nelle case.
What is beautiful is to go from house to house. People of a certain age have a hard time getting out and look forward to our visit. So we go see them to bring them a bit of carnival. But at the same time, by going into their home, we're treated to what the hostess has cooked, and sometimes it's better than what you find elsewhere. So we have the opportunity to taste the specialities of each house in the village.
Come in.
Can we come in? Tia Peppa?
Thank you.
Sorry.
Welcome.
People make themselves recognized by a sentence or a word, or one of us takes off their mask, thus allowing the rest of the group to enter.
Drink! We need a drink. Give us a drink.
Tia Peppa, I've brought you some foreigners.
Really? They're not from Ottana?
No, they're from somewhere else. Oh.
Rachele, come on, are you scared? No. Is Riccardo the only one you recognize? Wine? They don't seem to like alcohol.
I do. Pass the wine. They can have lemonade.
Okay.
Are you going to calm down?
Okay, take off your masks. Come on. We're not going out. Come on. We're not going to tell on you. Those big horns make me think of people who drive around in those big cars to make up for what they don't have.
Yeah, they're all a bunch of show-offs.
Who's that?
Uncle Mario.
You tricked me, you little devil. You fooled me.
Good night. Bye.
On the day of Mardi Gras, Ottana and Mamoyada are both in high energy as the long period of Carnival is coming to a close. Everyone involved is present, as are the rituals and symbols that make up the body and soul of Carrasecare. Everything comes together joyously one last time for exchanges and excess, including food and drink.
A major figure in the carnival is Giovanni Martissero, the puppet. According to tradition, this puppet is about to die on the day of Mardi Gras. He wanders through the streets of the village, going from house to house, and everyone gives him a little wine to try to comfort it. He goes round the village, accompanied by several men dressed as women, who mourn his agony and his death. In fact, they're mourning the dying symbol. But it's not just tears of pain, they're also tears of joy. For this puppet represents winter passing, finally giving way to spring.
It's long. We'll pull it tight later.
They say all the Asadores are here today.
They're all here.
Finally.
Hey, you are a champion. Look at me. That's your grandfather's handkerchief.
Hey, you messing with me?
This year, I made a mask for Jaime, who is 4. My father also made me a mask at that age. This year, Jaime will realize what the mask means. When children are too small, they don't realize what they're actually doing. Around 4 or 5 years old, he's just beginning to be aware of everything, and that's something that can be remembered forever. Look at me. It's beautiful.
Great. We're all here. Harry, okay. Let's get moving.
Carnival is a passion shared by all. There is no one group leading another. Those who wish to do so dress up very freely. You could even say it's almost anarchy. Deciding which disguise is nearly improvised, as is the role one will have in organising Carnival. What's important is putting on a mask. To wear a mask is to exist. We speak of a propitiatory rite. In ancient times, these celebrations were held to make it rain, to bring an end to winter, or to awaken spring. Even today, these rites, passed down by our ancestors for thousands of years, have these propitiatory characteristics. They allow us to work and to continue living in these villages where we were born. When people visit us, they buy masks, cakes, wine. They stay in our territory. They come to discover our cultures and traditions. It's vital to accommodate them while maintaining a balance. We must not betray ourselves to please the tourists, but remain true to what we are and our traditions. The Mardi Gras parade has evolved. Now, there are also allegorical floats. This is the strength of our carnival. On January 17th for St. Anthony, those wearing 30 kilos of bells on their backs embody a myth. They wear a dark and tragic mask and represent something archaic in the parade. For Mardi Gras, you can see them dancing on a float to modern music with their friends, and immediately after, dancing Sardinian dances on the town square, with their mamutones friends or a girlfriend disguised as an Indian. It's a community living in 2015, not in the past. This is our strength, our myth. There is no compromise involved in this. Beans and bacon are distributed on the main square on Mardi Gras. It's called the food of the dead and revolves around material rebirth. Our ancestors believed in this, and it has been handed down like a treasure.
As the entrails of the Giubane Martis puppet are handed around and food is shared, one of the last chilly nights in these mountains comes to an end. After this month of reunions and collective celebrations, everyone can open their houses wide open once again and go prepare the land which the breath of springtime will make fertile. And they can be reassured that they can always count on a community of people that shares the same values and the same traditions. A neighbor, a friend, or a new acquaintance met around a bonfire or during a dance. A community which remains proud of its affiliations with Barbagia, where the art and pleasure of giving starts at birth before anyone learns how to receive.